Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say thank you very much indeed for inviting us to such a prestigious environment. I'm very, very impressed. A little tad disappointed with the numbers, but as I say, it's not quantity, it is indeed quality. Now, the organisation that we represent is called CA Support Services. What I'd like to do, the general gist of the actual seminar or lecture is going to be to do with recruiting and retention. But before I begin, I'd like to give you a very brief background of our organisation, what we do. Myself, I'm a contract manager. So essentially I'll be dealing with all of the contracts and every single aspect of the contracts, which is hiring and firing, ensuring that we've got the products there, but mainly to ensure that the client is happy with the level of service that they're getting and that we're providing as well. It's a continuous battle, you'll find, whereby you do get let down by certain operatives, but that's something there for me to actually rectify. So let me give you a little bit of background in terms of what it is that we do. We truly believe that first impressions to our clients is absolutely imperative, without a shadow of a doubt. We have been established for approximately 23 years now. In actual fact, it's been 23 years since September just gone, during which time we've built a reputation for our professional services. You'll find, if this works, that we specialise in a wide range of different business support services. Predominantly, we provide cleaning to the commercial arena, but we also provide a whole host of additional support services, which includes things like grounds maintenance, painting and decorating, waste removal, just to name but a few. So you can see we are quite diverse in terms of the types of services that we offer. Our contracts range from as little as 10 hours up to as high as 800 hours. What does that equate to in terms of the type of businesses that we have? Again, it's literally from nurseries to doctors, dental surgeries, all the way up to multi-sites where we have 10, 20 cleaners there in a day. We also have quite a low staff and contract turnover. We basically put that down to managing our staff and clients in a very proactive and realistic fashion, whereby they are happy to know what they're getting at the end of the day and what we are delivering as well. I shall swiftly move on. This is just a few of the services that we do offer. As you can see, regular and deep cleaning, commercial vehicle cleaning, builders cleans, specialised floor cleaning. We've even gone into the avenue of supplying janitorial supplies, which we found is something that clients do wish for, purely because they can use this as a one-stop shop. So, right, as you all know, one of the most difficult challenges is to hire and indeed retain these people. Why does bad hires happen? Why indeed do you actually get somebody, hire them, and you find that it's bad? Let's break it down. Not knowing what to look for is probably one of the key points there in terms of both the organisation and indeed the person that's coming to the interview itself. Not knowing what it takes for success on a job, again very self-explanatory. The ideal candidate should display a lot of interpersonal skills, a lot of personal attributes which combine passion, integrity, determination in order to succeed. Inappropriate people for interviewing and hiring, again, if you don't have the right person who's actually doing the interview, then of course the right questions will not be asked, in which case you will not be able to recruit the right person for the right job. It's got to be a complete match between the skill set of a person and the job that you're actually recruiting for. And again, merely filling vacancies versus hiring right. This seems to be quite a common problem, purely because certain organisations have got targets that they require to hit, so therefore they bring individuals in just to fill in the position. Essentially all they're doing is having a body, which again is not good for the organisation, certainly isn't good for the individual who's going to be working there as well. And another very important point is using selection processes that are made by one team as opposed to, one person as opposed to a complete team. What we've actually found within our organisation, excuse me, we take advantage of all of our staff. We appreciate all of their opinions and we try and get feedback whenever we're looking to recruit. bear in mind that they have to work, especially if it's head office based, within a team. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Candidates misled in the interview. Now, this is actually candidates themselves misleading you purely because of the knowledge that they say that they have, which they haven't got. But that itself will be very, very apparent when they actually take on the role. Can they do it or can't they do it? It really will be a case of sink or swim. Hiring a winning team. What indeed is the right person? Right. First and foremost, the person itself has to be critical to the organisation's goals achievement. What you will find, as I said before, their skill sets need to be matched appropriately with the job specification. That way productivity is enhanced and you get the best out of the person. The right person will always be difficult to replace if they were to leave. In essence, a person who, due to their work ethics, had made themselves, in a nutshell, indisposable. But having said that, nobody's indisposable at the end of the day. But what you will find, there's certain people who work to such a high level, in order to actually replace them will be very difficult indeed. So that puts them in a prime position as the right person for your organisation. Does more work than others. Very, very self-explanatory. An individual who displays commitment, passion, up and above the job that's required in the remit that's required. Going the extra mile, so to speak. Produces a higher quality of work than others. Again, very, very self-explanatory. What you will find, this is in actual fact a byproduct of somebody who's doing more hours and working harder than others. What you'll find, the general rule of thumb would dictate that the harder you work, the more you'll achieve. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that there is a direct correlation between how much you input and the output that you actually get at the end of the day as well. Top 20%. Now, what you'll find in actual fact, with the top 20%, if we were to break this room down to 100%, you'll find 20% of the people will actually display the skills that you're looking for. The commitment, the determination, the integrity, the passion. These are all attributes that we're looking for, but unfortunately it is the 20% of people that actually have these and have it on a consistent basis as well. Identifying the ideal candidate. Do excuse me. What indeed one must look for when you're trying to identify the ideal candidate, the person who's going to be right for your organisation and to work in your team. Character trait, ambition. Ambition happens to be one of the traits that we're looking for, but as discussed before, you need confidence, competence, passion, integrity, determination, all the positive attributes that you would like a person to have and actually display within your organisation. Repeated patterns of success. Again, what you'll find with this, very self-explanatory. If someone has actually provided you proof that their work previously is very good, the likelihood is they will continue doing that work, and they will also be able to develop and expand on that for your organisation, which is absolutely key. Personal characteristics. This can be broken down into many different aspects. Could be things such as dress sense. Are they dressed for success or do they come in jeans? Very, very important. You'll find the way you dress will directly affect your attitude in terms of how you want to portray yourself. Also things such as punctuality, attendance, being a team player, have they got the positivity? These are all traits that you have to look for when you're actually hiring a person. And the cultural fit. Now the cultural fit really refers to the organisation and the organisation's culture, internal culture or the internal ethos. Very, very important. I think the best way of explaining this would be if the name doesn't fit, you're not getting in, so to speak. I don't know if you can kind of understand that analogy. Essentially, if a company's ethos dictates that you have to work in a particular fashion or dress in a particular fashion, and obviously prospective clients or candidates come along and they don't, then they won't be what you're looking for. They have to have a direct fit with your organisation. Interview tactics. What we've found in our organisation is by creating what we call a hiring scorecard, it actually works a lot better. This is, in actual fact, very bespoke as well to each individual organisation. It really depends on the position you're interviewing for and also the requirements and expectations of that particular business. Customised questions for each candidate. Very similar to a hiring scorecard, but this again is using different sets of questions and adapting them to the individual to see what their response is and gauge a response to see whether or not they're going to be suitable for the role or suitable for the organisation. Have the candidates give a short presentation. What we found is an absolutely fantastic tool to gauge the candidates' philosophies, ideologies, and also their will and determination to succeed. How fantastic is it in any interview scenario where an individual comes along and actually gives you the background of your company? So it shows that they've got the passion and commitment to actually do this before they come in beforehand, which means, yeah, they're on the right track. They obviously are so willing to impress that they get all the background knowledge beforehand and therefore come to the interview ready for success. As you can see, that's the team that we're looking to hire, the A team. But the main thing here is really getting the team involved. Please bear in mind that the person that you're interviewing may not be the ideal person. You may like them personally, but it may not be a team player. So it is of paramount importance to gain the opinions of your colleagues, find out whether or not this particular person fits in within their ethos, within their group, and if of course they're done, they will definitely get hired. We have a quick few little tips in terms of finding out or finding the right person. Consider current employees. I think this is quite across the board. The very first thing you do would look internally. Obviously recruit from within. You'll find the prospective candidate has already got the relevant experience and already part of the existing team. So that's two areas that you've actually narrowed down straight away. Secondly, hiring from outside. Again, this is only required if the in-house expertise is not available, but it also ensures if you have a team that are suffering from complacency, you bring in the new blood that will give them new drive and new ambition. Remembering that the person's last job performance is a good guide for their future performance. This is a very key point as it highlights the individual's aspirations and accomplishments, and if the level of accomplishments are high, again this is somebody that you would want to take on board and work for you as an organisation. Beware of the just like me trap. Now I'm sure people who've been in the interview process have actually fell into this. It really is a case of when a potential candidate empathises with you and purely through that process you think that he is the right person. Absolutely wrong. Always focus on fulfilling a job role to the most suitable candidate. Finally, you're hired, and this chap here happened to be a candidate for The Apprentice. We've now got him working for us.
Hello everyone, my name is AJ. Again, I work for the same company Sam works for. I've got a few roles within the company, but predominantly my main role is I'm a service delivery manager. I manage from the beginning of our company to the end, basically making sure clients and our workforce have the right information and have the right support. So what I'll move on to is employee retention. So you've got the special one. Can you keep them? Will they get disillusioned within the first 3 months or 6 months? How do you keep them in the long-term ambition of your company and in projects? Why do people leave? The main focal point is the reason why employees leave is because of lack of management. It's down to management, rules, regulations, and guidance. So it falls on poor leadership, whether it be supervisors, directors, team leaders. Lack of challenge. You've hired this person, you've promised them the earth, you said that you'll give them every single opportunity to achieve, and also they'll be challenged to learn different parts of their job, but you've given them nothing. They've realised that. So limited opportunities. Again, this special person has taken on your role hoping that they will progress within the company and move on, but they've again found it's not happening. probably one of the, if you're going to hire an ambitious person, this is probably a very important foundation to give them, the opportunity to move up the ladder. Ineffective co-workers. If you've, again, got the right person, but their work team isn't up to the scratch, this person will leave because they're thinking, I'm putting all the effort I can, and all my work colleagues are not, so why should I stay with this group of people? And obviously, the top three sort of reflects that. They can see that our whole company structure isn't going anywhere, team isn't going anywhere, so they exit. No appreciation. Really, this one means from the management or the team leaders. No appreciation, no thank yous, no real saying thank you for doing a good job, even a thank you verbally. And ultimately, if this person's great at what they do, they've moved up the ladder, you've given them incentives, ultimately you'll have to pay them. So if the pay isn't right, no matter how great they are and how loyal they are, they will ultimately leave. So just to identify a couple of key things that employees need before taking on a challenge or a role. Belonging. Obviously employees want to feel part of a team, of a community. Management have to give them communication, have to engage them into their company. If that doesn't happen, doesn't matter how great the person is, they most likely 9 times out of 10 will leave. Achievement. No matter what their role is, someone will always want to feel that they've made an impact in the business in their sort of format, whether it be from a daily perspective or from an overall company. So everyone has to feel they are achieving and making an impact on the business. Recognition. Coming back to appreciation, a thank you verbally is the basis of what people need. If you can give them more formally in a company presentation, annual meeting, then that's great. So how do we at CA Support plan to keep our staff? Again, all these things that we'll be saying, probably most companies would like to use, but don't stick to. And I think that's the main point of it. Companies just do not stick to their company manual, their ethos, and divert because of business or etc. Or mainly you've got a great person working for you and you think that person will drive your business, so you forget about why you hired them and the promises you made. So listening to the team, acting on what you hear. If you're not knowing what's going on in the office, you're not going to be able to basically know the mood of your workforce. Putting steps in place to harness ideas. So always having processes where team, staff can actually go in and forward ideas which will put the company forward. Schedule regular support meetings. Again, these could be one-to-one meetings, these could be a group seminar or an annual meeting. One-to-ones are probably the best because you can actually engage and gauge from the staff what they're actually going through and their needs. Obviously eliminating any destructive forces, whether it's employees falling out on each other or whether it's a conflict in the office. If the person is looking for you to take action, you have to be seen to be taking that action. If you don't, it creates a bigger problem and obviously it just escalates. And the final one would be keeping channels open. If you're the managing director, you might not be the line manager, but you have to make sure all communication channels are open. That could be coming through the door, via email, phone, or Twitter, social network groups, etc. So what the best thing to do is keep the bar open high. If you've said if you're going to work on high standards, you've got to carry on the same way. So lock up your talent. If they're good people, they're top of then other people will look to them. So you've got to always try and keep your talent locked up, preferably in a room with the keys and etc. Screen rigorously. Ultimately, staff will leave because someone will give them a better job or they will look for different opportunities. So you've always got to screen. You've always got to almost filter out the next person that's coming through. Give ownership. As I think we've all repeated, that ownership if this person is the special one, you've got to be able to give them ownership, give them responsibility, give them challenges, and they will feel part of the team. Keep them challenged. Again, keeping things interesting in the workforce, in the work that you do, and also mixing up the day to obviously make sure it's not mundane, it's the same repeated work and the structure. Foster ideas and initiatives. Again, it's about you challenging your team to come up with ideas, feeling part of the team. Encourage contributions. You've got confident people, you've got people who are not so confident. I think the people who are not so confident, that's the people you've got to really engage and get them to contribute. Keep the company direction. What this really means is you can reflect on the person and look to enhance the person's needs, but you've got to keep the company ethos and the direction. They've got to go along with what you've initially brought the company in for. Finally, rewarding. At the end of the day, everyone needs reward. So recognise them in public. So whether it's annual meetings, team meetings, let everyone know, whether it's via email, let everyone know this person's done a good job. Give incentives, again, voucher schemes. There's many incentives out there that different companies have. Incentive is a very, very good way of keeping people motivated. Finally, pay. Ultimately, you can give them everything. You can give them box of chocolates, flowers, but if they've done their job, they've moved up the ladder, you have to pay them what they're worth. And that comes the end of our presentation. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to myself and Sam. I'd like to thank everyone at Apex for holding this event. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and we're welcome to answer. Thank you very much.
I think these slides have been a great summary. It covers a big subject. If I can give these slides or show them to a student of business, it becomes a complete subject. I don't see anything missing in that, right from the point of recruitment up to the retention. I mean, you talked about rewards, you talked about incentives, and then Sam talked about finding the right person. This covers all. I mean, we had practical experience of all this, and I can see things we have practiced and things we have not practiced. So this is a great summary. It's a wonderful presentation, both of you. And I have just probably questions and comments, both.
Sure.
One of them. You're talking about the employment, the hiring of the person. This morning we talked about subjective interviews and objective interviews or structured interviews. The list, the hiring list. Did you mean the structured interview or some kind of checklist which people have to qualify before getting into the company?
It is almost a checklist.
So, I mean, we call it a score list, a scorecard. So we have the key areas that we're looking for, and that if that person matches it, we'll score it.
Give me some example, if you may, please.
If you look at the cultural fit of the company, if we say that someone's come from a similar background, that will be a tick. So that goes against that. Again, if you're looking for someone with an educational background, so a law degree, for instance, that will be a tick. So it's a scorecard, and I think Sam was going back to what this scorecard does. The person that interviews will relay the scorecard back to the team. They will look at it. If we have a second screening of an interview, a different team will come, two people will come and interview the same person again, and then go back and match the scorecards. And that's a key way to see that two groups who have not been in the same room have matched the same person, because if they're the right fit, they will match on the scorecards. So I think that's very, very important for us anyway.
I think this is probably a wonderful way of eliminating the human factor.
That's right, yes.
That you have less control over moods and day-to-day variations. You have a checklist. You go through the checklist. People score, get the job. Who don't score, they don't get the job.
That's right.
So that takes away the human factor away, and probably the personal choices away as well.
That's right, yes.
I have felt that before, when I started the first company, Medical Legal Professionals, I developed a panel of interviewers. Somebody assessing the aesthetics of the person, somebody assessing the academics of the person, And my staff members who were employed back in 2008 will tell you that how they were interviewed. They were pre-interviewed before, and then they were interviewed, and then they were informed what went wrong and what went well. There was one section, now you'll be probably laughing at this, one section, one checklist, which was what was the person's body language or persona.
Yeah.
There were 5 things in that. One was the dress appearance, the physical body posture, the mannerism, the genuine smile and genuine appearance on the face, and the 4th thing was the courtesy, and of course the promptness, the mental alertness. And while I was interviewing that person academically or some other aspect, there was other person on my side giving scores out of 10. And that helped me, because there were 2 candidates of same ability where my scores were equal, but other person's scores were different, like a psychometric test.
Yeah.
And that helped me differentiate that these 2 people are of equal caliber, but there is a difference in the behavior or the presentation, and that person is more valued. So I think these checklists or structured interviews are a great source of hiring the right person. I have stopped doing it lately because I was just too busy. But I think you've just reminded me that I should really consider that approach once again. So thank you for reminding me on that as well.